Jaylen Brown dunking all over.
Scared Embiid on
Yeah,
his MVP. How you win the MVP trophy
on
and
your
on the
MVP
same
night,
night
lose
they
by 40.
they lose by 40? But I mean, you know how it goes. Like when the playoffs start and you go into somebody else's home, you just playing for a split. If you win the second game, hip hip hooray!
That's
Long,
icing on the cake.
you know it's not for the not for the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah.
They blew that. They blew that real bad. I'm still mad about that. But
But I still don't understand why Joel played this game. I felt like that said he was injured, that's why he wasn't playing. And then you got the split, which is all any team wants. And I feel like if James Harden's on a roll like that by being the main scorer and kind of playing that role, that you do that, you run with that game plan that got you the victory in
hmm
game two. Not because you don't trust Joel, but because it worked and you won using that formula. Why not try it one more time and give Joel an extra rest? And then the whole team, the crowd, and everyone will be super juiced when Joel gets his MVP trophy on their first home game in the series, and it'll be his first game back. I think it would have been a lot better of a reception and moment even for himself, because I think getting the MVP trophy in front of his home crowd, and then being that the first game he's playing in the series, and the guys being extra juiced and giving James Harden 2 full games of being the main guy and getting his rhythm,
yeah,
I think that would have helped the team a lot more. But I felt like this was actually even selfish on Joel Embiid's part to play this game. He
I,
should have let James Harden keep rolling him. Let him cook,
I don't even.
as they say.
Do you think he have even had a choice? I think with Doc Rivers is Doc Rivers the coach for the Sixers, right?
Philly, yeah.
I mean, you think he probably just made him go out there and play. Doc Rivers old school
You
with it.
can't trust Doc Rivers. He even traded his own son.
That's great. That's grimy. How you trade your own son? But I feel the same way. And Tobias Harris has to step up. There's no reason why you supposed to be the third man on the third star on the team. That's how they advertise the Sixers to us. And I never hear your name come up. They never talk about you at all. Only time I ever hear them talk about Tobias Harris is when they mention J. Cole.
I remember when Philly lost to Miami, and Jimmy was pretty much torturing Tobias Harris because he was trying to guard him. And then he was like, because if you don't remember, Jimmy was on Philly.
Yeah.
And it looks like Philly decided to pay Tobias over paying Jimmy. And Jimmy was like, him over me? And if you don't know, Jimmy is Timothy. And they
Hey,
chose
Jimmy's on fire.
they chose little Tobias that does goldfish commercials rather than Timothy. Let that sink in. That's why the process will never work, and that's why they're cursed.
So
They
you
got the Jimmy Butler
so
curse.
you think so they curse as in the Celtics finna win the series?
Boston has always had Philly's number. I think if you look at ever since Joel's came in the league and actually played,
Mm-hmm.
because he missed his first 2 years, that I think Boston's won like 90 to 95% of the games. Like they just normally own Philly.
They have more stars.
That's
We
all.
got
That's all I was saying. Joel didn't play, and James Harden looked like turns back to Houston
oh
Rocket James Harden.
yeah.
That why not let him cook and let that experiment go again? And so that way, if he's come back game three, he's already cooking, and then y'all both can cook. But I think they messed up the formula, and I'm gonna choose Boston. It's 1-1. I'll choose Boston as 6. I don't think it's going 7. I think even though they messed up game one, I think it's only going 6.
This is going all 7 games. This is going
Boston
all
is
seven
7.
games. No, I'm going Philly.
You going Philly
I'm
Dilly?
going Philly. James Harden. Going for say
You want to bet around the tees?
we can bet around the T's on that. We can dip. Let's shake on
Just
it.
straight up, who wins the series?
Who win the series?
I'm gonna take Boston. You take Philly.
Straight up, who win the series? I'll
All
take
right, I'll bet
Boston.
you around the tees.
Round the T's. Boom.
Yeah.
On that. So I mean, because I mean, with the whole thing with this, I feel like they don't want James. They don't want James Harden to have the ball in his hand 24/7 and run the team, because this is Joel Embiid team. They don't want to take that away from them. But at
Wait,
the same time, I think they might have to, or like
I think Joel's a good player, but I think his play style is counterintuitive to playing Boston because they have two ginormous bigs. Most teams now play a guy at center that's most of the time undersized compared to what centers were 10 years ago
hmm
at center, and then they actually have a small forward actually playing power forward. But when you look at Boston, they have Al Horford, who's 6'10", but who's like a Bane type of shoulders with 6'10". He's a thick
he's
guy.
so old.
Yeah,
He
but
is
he's
so
still
he was
good.
playing with Joe. He was doing with Joel
He was
Noah,
going against
Corey
Stoudemire
Brewer.
back in the day when he was on the Hawks. Yes, we know this. But he's a thick guy and he's big, and they have him at power forward. And then they have Robert Williams, who's also a thick guy at 7 foot. So they got some big guys in there to clog it up. And Joel, when you throw it into him, all he's going to want to do is post up mostly. He shoots an occasional three, but
Hmm.
you're having him post up when they have two bigs, two real bigs. They basically are playing two centers, and you got them there to stop Joel, and then nothing else works. Where
Yeah, they
whenever
just double
you
teaming Joe. They really just double teaming Joel and letting Tobias. If Tobias make him, Tobias make it.
and they can they're gonna win the percentages when you're betting on Tobias.
Facts.
And so it really doesn't make sense. And when they let Harden cook, it's like Harden can beat his matchups on the perimeter. He can get around Smart. He can get around Brown. He can get around Tatum. He can get around the guards that the Celtics play. So he has a much better.
Kobe White,
I feel like that they should play
Smart.
through play through Harden and Maxey and try to play fast break basketball. Because I feel like if they try to play slow man basketball with
Hmm.
running a bunch of post ups for Joel Embiid,